Hello! In this first video, I'm going to demonstrate how to do bar and beat tempo mapping in Pro Tools. It's really important you know how to do this if you're working music production because you may be given a song and need to put in some markers and know where the bars and beats are so you can communicate with the musicians and do some editing to the grid. So we're going to drop the file in here. Oftentimes you're given a session with files in it, but this time we're going to drop it in. I could just drag and drop it right here into the edit window, but that would not put the audio file in my audio files folder. So it makes much more sense to import my audio from import audio, Command-Shift-I, and navigate to the desktop, and yep, it's Party in the USA. Everybody loves that song. And we're going to bring it in, and it's going to say, can I put it in your audio files folder? I say yep, because it's changing the bit depth and sample rate to the session. And where should I put it? We'll put it on a new track, and it says, do you want it at the beginning? And I go, yeah, that'll work. So there it is. And I'm going to make that track a little bigger. I'm holding Control and arrow keying up to make it a little bigger. And I'm going to play it. And it's playing right from the beginning of the song, and that's cool for listening, but if you actually want to do editing and overdubbing with musicians, with overdubs, you're going to want it to start later in the song so you can have a count off, the click track lead into it. So normally I just slide this over to start about 10 seconds. A slick way of doing this might be to actually edit it to right at the beginning of the song here, and just use the trim tool, and then put that spot, the spot tool, double tap the clip, and put it, hit the period there, and put it exactly at 10 seconds. So now the file is starting exactly at 10 seconds, which is kind of cool. And since I'm not going to listen to it, I want to find out where in time this song starts. Does it start on the beat? The next thing I'm going to do is define this as a beat so I can get my grid going. I want to check it out and see if it starts on the beat or not. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So it sounds to me like it's starting right on the beat. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And since it starts right on the grid, I'm going to tab right to it. I'm right there. And I already know that I'm right there because I already edited it. And I'm going to insert a beat marker here, which is Command-I, or I believe it's under Event, Identify Beat. And I'm going to say this is bar 1, beat 1, and we're in 4/4, go. And I don't see it because I need to go up here and view all this important stuff, which is going to work with these, we're going to do in these videos, markers, tempo, and meter. So it's defined it as bar 1, beat 1. You can see the bars to the left are counting up to 1, and these are counting above 1. And the tempo is probably wrong. That's the default tempo. So the next thing we need to do is add a second bar and beat marker so Pro Tools can do the math for us and figures out the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3. So that's right here where I clicked. Ooh, and how did I do that? That's really important. I hit, while I was listening, when I got to the beat that I wanted to stop it at, I hit the arrow down button, and that placed the marker. I'll show you here. I'm going to arrow down right now, and then if I'm zoomed in and I miss the arrow, hit the arrow down and I can't see it. If I hit the arrow to the right or the left, it will actually move to it, to the insertion tool and where I currently am at in the timeline. So this is pretty cool. Let me demonstrate again. I'll zoom in. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. So that's going to be bar 3. And we're going to zoom in, and I can use my zoom keys. I've got zoom keys programmed on my mouse. They're just doing the R and T on the keyboard. And I define this as bar 3. And it thinks it's 3-1, but it's actually 3-3, but it's actually 3-1. And now, if I'm zooming out, it's thinking the tempo is 96.0022, which is pretty close to 96 BPM. We'll listen on. We'll do a couple more markers to make sure I'm accurate. 2, 3. So that should be bar 5. And a zoom in. There's the transient of the kick drum. Command I, put in the marker, and it's right before 5, so we'll just type in a 5. And zooming out, checking the tempo at 96.017. Looks like the tempo of the song might be 97, 96. Now look at my grid, and my grid's right in time with the music. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if this song weren't played to a grid, and I'm making a guess that this Dr. Luke produced track here is grid all the way down, it's a dance track, we might have to enter in a lot more markers as the tempo deviates and moves, as the drummers and the other musicians kind of change in time. But if we go all the way down here in the end and it's still on the grid, then we know the tempo stayed consistent. So, still on. Check it out. So, pretty sure I got the right tempo. I'm so sure I think the producers did not intend it to be a decimal plate tempo. I'm going to go as far as actually deleting the markers I just made and defining this is flat out 96. And I'm going to check the tempo in a couple spots, see if I'm right. Really looks like and we zoom in that one spot where I just was. And you can kind of see the bass drum. That's the bass drum. And look how close I am from the grid. Really, really close to the grid. Which means, yep, the tempo is 96. So I've just established a grid. Sweet. I'm going to save it. First video done.